All right. Name that movie. 51st Dates. It's a classic and focused on Drew Barrymore's character who had a form of amnesia, not an accurate representation, but nonetheless a form of amnesia. So let's talk about how we forget things. Okay. One of the ways is something called amnesia. Okay, there's anterior grade amnesia, where one can remember the past but is unable to create new memories. So from that point moving forward, they're unable to create new memories. So it's almost as if every single night they go to bed, they kind of get wiped clean, very similar to Drew Barrymore's character, but the explanation in the movie was not totally accurate. There's no Goldfield syndrome or anything like that. Retrograde amnesia can't remember the past, but oftentimes can create new memories. Okay. Both forms of amnesia can come through injuries, illnesses, and so on that changes the acting of the brain. Okay, source amnesia, attributing a memory to an incorrect source, which is more of a common thing. So where you feel or very strongly about a memory and you don't exactly remember where it came from, but you believe it came from one place where in actuality it really did not. Procedural memory and conditioned learning, typically still intact with this stuff, right? So you can still working memory works, you can go about your life, all that kind of stuff. So encoding failures, what happens here? So this is when information that never gets put into storage, okay? And because of that, memory will decline with age due to diminishing senses. So oftentimes when we get older, again, we have to be careful. We view the elderly as not competent or capable, or we use too often the words like Alzheimer's or dementia going on. Well, really, all it is a degrading in the sensing cells, right? Eyes, taste, smell, and so on. And less stuff gets coded, right? It's not a brain failure. It's not an issue, a cognitive issue. It's just a natural age degeneration issue. But it happens to all of us. So we'll do an example here with the pennies of which one's the real penny. I'll let you go look it up. Okay. So we've got some activities that we do in the room here to be able to test your encoding abilities of the things that you should know or come in contact with all the time that maybe you don't. Okay. Storage decay. Okay. The course of forgetting is initially rapid but levels off with time. So you take in, say, for instance, cramming for an exam. You're taking all this information. You lose most of it within about the first 20 minutes. Think about that. So you're preparing for your exam and you waited till first period to prepare for a 4 or 5 period exam, and you spent all that time, everything that you took in, by the time you get to that exam an hour later, you've lost over 50% of it. So thinking about that and how we know about what we know about learning, we're far better off taking small chunks, learning them, and then going back, kind of analyzing it a different way, adding it to previously learned information, and so on. Because if you look at how things level off over time, if you can get that stuff stored better, it will last longer and it'll still be available to you when you're ready to take that exam. So retrieval failures, okay, interference, proactive and retroactive interference, disrupting a memory by either new or old information blocking it. So for instance, if you're trying to learn something, but you had a previous understanding of what it was and how it worked, it's sometimes tough to change that understanding, and it blocks or changes the way that you are remembering things. And then motivated forgetting, repressing memories to avoid anxiety, embarrassment, pain, changing them because of that, very Freudian, okay? But you'd be motivated to change the way that something happened, right? So you don't correctly store it. Okay? And it all comes down to that attention piece. Where do we pay attention? And then how do we go about coding and storing that information? Okay, we'll leave some of these things for you to watch on your own. These are all little videos and activities we would do in class. Okay, really good stuff. Okay, I believe this is Elizabeth Loftus on misinformation and eyewitness testimony, which has, through the psychology field has quickly become a discredited way of identifying who was a perpetrator in a crime and so on. So I challenge you, check it out. It's interesting stuff. And well, how do we get it back? How do we do better? Okay. Well, here's a really good way. We've used school and stuff as an example. So the first one, rehearse it more often. Bring it back up. Talk about it. Share it. Explain it. Okay. Connect it to things that you already have memories of. Okay. Connect it to stuff that you're not going to forget. Right. We talked memory palace and everything else. Create retrieval cues. How do we bring it back? What is it that's going to spark you remembering what it is? Okay. Minimize interference. So when you're doing it, get to a place where you're alone, isolated, so you can focus on it. Minimize the other things that are similar to it that could block, proactively or retroactively block you remembering it.